With over 300 competitors wrestling on 8 matches in the early rounds of competition, it's sometimes overwhelming to know who you should watch. Luckily for you, I have a full breakdown on the 5 best early round matchups that you need to be watching. So let's stop stalling and start talking wrestling. What's going on, wrestling fans? My name's Josiah, and welcome to Fanco Wrestling for NCAA Championships Week. How psyched are you for the championships? The best things that I like about the early rounds is that you watch any single match. I mean, whether you're watching mat 2, mat 8, mat 6, doesn't matter. There's a great match happening somewhere. And it's just so much fun to watch at this high level of competition because this is the best of the best. The 33 best wrestlers in the country at each weight will compete. So let's break down this Fanco 5 of the best matchups you need to be watching in the early rounds. And the first matchup here is a fun one. It's a young one. It's Dylan Ragusin and Jacob Camacho. Ragusin, the 11 seed, the freshman, going up potentially against Jacob Camacho, the number 6 seed. So the rounds I'm talking about here are round 1 and round 2, so pretty much before the quarterfinals. And all these matches aren't actually guaranteed. These guys may lose in the first round, but I'm just looking at potential matchups we could be getting. So both these guys are entering their first NCAA championships, actually. Camacho had qualified last year, but of course we didn't get those. Ragusin, though, let's talk about Ragusin. He had a great, he had a tough Big Ten tournament. Not a great Big Ten tournament, kind of rough, but, he lost to Spencer Lee, kind of a rough loss to take. But he did battle his way through the consies. He beat Justin Cardani. But then he lost to Robbie Howard in a sudden victory match. But the match that maybe went under the radar is he actually beat the number 4 seed in Pat McKee. That was a big win for him in the 7th and 8th place match. And he came out hot to start the season, was Ragusin. The thing that kind of caught him is he bumped up at 133 for the team. When we found out that Micic was out, he bumped up for the team and was wrestling there. And then he just, at the end of the season, bumped back down to wrestle 125. So maybe weight cutting played a little issue there. But he will be wrestling Camacho, who's 8-2 on the season. Only 2 losses are to Sam Latona, the same guy who he lost to him once in the duel, a 7-4 decision. And then he lost to him a tight one at ACC's 2-1. Now, the thing I want to mention about Camacho, he's having a great season, and the thing about him, too, is he beat Jack Mueller at last year's ACCs, who was a national finalist. These two, sparks are going to fly when these two wrestle. These two young guns go at it, and, the thing that's so exciting here is when you start looking at some of these matchups is we've only been getting in-conference competition this year. We're finally getting some out-of-conference competition. ACC and Big Ten here. And a similar ACC and Big Ten match is actually against Cam Amin and Kennedy Monday in the round 1 matchup. This is the number 4 I don't want to say most anticipated, but matchup, the early round matchup you have to be watching. Cam Amin, the number 11 seed, wrestling number 22 Kennedy Monday. It's kind of hard to believe that Monday received the number 22 seed. I guess just based on where he was wrestling this year, but kind of crazy. So Thursday morning, these two will be wrestling. The winner will likely get Keegan O'Toole here. And listen, Monday had a tough ACC tournament. He lost to Wenzel, who ended up winning the tournament, and he lost to Thomas Bullard, who both of those matches were actually like 1 point, 2 point matches. The one with Bullard went in sudden victory. It was tough. It was tough losses for Kennedy, but he's somebody who can pull the crazy upsets. Remember last year when he tacked McFadden? That was like wild. And I would expect to see some of those same things from Kennedy Monday at NCAAs. He's made the round of 12 in his redshirt freshman year. He upset Joey LaValle. Who knows? And then you look at Cam Amin, who's a young guy, a young buck, and he's having quite the season. It's his first NCAA championships. His only losses this year are to the number 1 seed and the number 7 seed, and that's Alex Marinelli and Ethan Smith. Not too bad losses to actually have. And, at Big Tens, he beat Andrew Sparks, a young guy, but another great prospering freshman in the quarters. He battled back after he ended up losing the semis, beating number 7, Peyton Robb, for 3rd and 4th place match, which is a great win for him. And I think, with Amin, the win over Joe Lee in that match, in that duel, Penn State and Michigan, kind of propelled him into the spotlight. But I think he's even better than that. I think that he's just going to continue to do well. And it's kind of a style, fun. It's going to be a fun style matchup. I'll tell you that. It's kind of hard to say. A little bit of a tongue twister. Number 3, Ridge Lovett and Max Murin in round 2. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Number 5, Ridge Lovett actually beat Max Murin at the Big Ten Championships. He beat the number 11 seed, Max Murin. Now, he wasn't the number 11 seed at Big Tens. Actually, Lovett was quite the underdog at Big Tens and one of my favorite wrestlers of the tournament, honestly. So he had some of my favorite matches, and just his reactions after it was fun to watch him wrestle. So Murin went 0-2 at Big Tens this year. He's 4-3 on the season. So he struggled at the end of the season, you know. He had losses to Lovett and Mike Van Brill. That's who he lost to at Big Tens to go 0-2. Now, you want to look at a Lovett who went on to beat Michael Blockus, number 6 seed. He lost to Sasso 5-2 in the finals, but he just couldn't generate really any offense, couldn't get any takedowns on him. And maybe that'll change, but the interesting matchup here is between these two guys. I mean, especially if Love is able to upset Murin again early on in the tournament, I mean, that'd be wild. I mean, he tossed him early on in the match, and he went up 6-0. Murin ended up coming back, so like he was able to score on Lovett. It wasn't like it was just a total blowout or anything, but I mean, he was just it was a awesome match between those two, and Lovett just looked really, really great. He'll have Omania first round, who he majored earlier in the season, and he could run into whoever wins this, Murin or Lovett, would likely run into Sasso in the semifinals. Next up, number two is another rematch similar to that one. It's Noah Adams and Stephen Buchanan. They're going to be wrestling again, potentially in round 2. I mean, unbelievable. Noah Adams has been getting, unfortunately, kind of bad draws at the Big 12 Championships and at the NCAA Championships. It's another conference rematch, though, Big 12 rematch. Number 9, Noah Adams. Number 8, Stephen Buchanan. These number 9 and number 8 seeds, those are honestly the matches that you should be watching, like in every single bracket. This is just a really fun one. Adams keeps getting... I mean, he just can't get the best of Buchanan this year. Buchanan is up in the series. I believe he's up 3-2 in the series over Noah Adams is Buchanan, who, first of all, these two ran into each other in the Big 12 semifinals, and then Buchanan ended up going on to the finals, lost to AJ Ferrari, but man, his only 2 losses in the last couple of seasons come to Buchanan. 3 losses, to Buchanan. Now, whoever wins this would just keep advancing and likely get either for AJ Ferrari in the semis or potentially Tanner Sloan or even Miles Amin. I mean, this is crazy. They'll likely have the winner of this match will get a Miles Amin likely. But man, I mean, this is the big show. This is where things could happen for Noah Adams. Can he find a way to get it done? Every single point with these two guys has been within like a point or two. And that's it. And then I have a Big Ten and ACC matchup again. Nelson Brands, this is the number 1 match that you need to be watching in the early rounds. Could be happening in round 2. A clash of titans in Nelson Brands and Hunter Bolen. Number 5 seed, Hunter Bolen, going up against number 12 seed, Nelson Brands. Now, Brands had a great Big Ten tournament. I mean, remember his match against Aaron Brooks? I was not expecting him to come out swinging that hard against Brooks. I know there's some controversy in all the blood and the scratch marks. I mean, he was teething and clawing and doing everything he could to win that match. Literally and figuratively, I guess. But he came into the number 9 seed and finished as the number 4 seed. He beat Zach Bronigal in the first round, who he avenged that loss from earlier in the season. He had a close match with Aaron Brooks, like I said, which I wasn't expecting. And he battled through with wins over Rocky Jordan, the 10 seed. Number 4, Owen Webster. He ended up losing to Poznansky for 3rd and 4th place, 3-2 match. And you know, Nelson Brands, he seems to be coming alive right now. He's peaking at the right time. And Hunter Bolen is somebody too. I mean, he has had a great last couple of seasons. He ended up losing to Trent Hiley at the ACC Championships. And the thing, you know, about that match is they've wrestled so many times, those two guys, Bolen and Hiley. It was bound to happen that Hiley would get the better of him. I don't know if it'll happen again if these two do end up wrestling there, but we will be seeing likely Nelson Brands and Hunter Bowen, which will be a very fun one. I mean, it's going to be a fight. These two are just fighters from start to finish. It's just going to be whoever can get the takedown is going to end up happening. And it's honestly kind of big for team point implications for Virginia Tech or Iowa, because whoever wins this has a good shot to continue to do well, maybe make the semis or go even further than that. But I mean, Virginia Tech is on the verge of getting on the podium, as a team, placing as a team. They're going to be competing. I don't know if they can necessarily match like an Iowa score, but definitely against an NC State. And if they can pick up a win here, that would be huge. If Iowa loses here, that's a big downer for them in the early rounds. Now, the winner will likely have Aaron Brooks in the semis, which would be a tough one. I mean, I'd love to see a Nelson Brands and Aaron Brooks rematch, but I'd also like to see Bowen wrestle Aaron Brooks for the first time. That is going to be an absolutely wild match. Now, if you're interested in seeing other NCAA coverage, I will have everything coming this week. Make sure you check out some of these videos so you get to know everything going on with this year's NCAA Championships. Which match are you looking the most forward to in the early rounds?